Good morning, everyone. So I'm Danny from MTech. Today, of course, we're diving into a critical overlooked aspect of IT security and operations, which is real-time alerting and secure messaging. So joining me today is going to be Andrew, the sales manager for Sendquick in country of Australia. So for new partners who have not worked with us before, or this is the first time, so MTech is a leading cybersecurity and network performance solutions provider. We partner with the top cyber vendors to deliver the best of breed security solutions in solving the ever-changing cyber landscape. So our value is driving awareness with our partners, like the session today, reseller enablement, technical expertise, to really work together and equip our partners with the cutting edge security solution, at the same time working together on demand gen and leads to increase pipeline as a complete channel system. So just a quick one around about the IT alert in the market. It is seen that it's evolving rapidly, driven by the increase in cyber threats, compliance, and the need for real-time incidents response. Now, organizations are really focused these days on automation, alert message systems to reduce downtime, improving security posture, and enhancing operational efficiency. The market is projected to grow significantly, with business right now prioritizing cloud-based and AI-driven alerting solution to streamline their operations. However, I believe that we can see that instead of, however, by doing this, critical notification still remains an afterthought. It is believed that, cyberspace, that SIEMs and other cyber solution inclusive of an alert system via email is good enough. But it only introduces noise leading to critical alerts being lost within a crowded inbox or potentially filtered into spam. Now, just to highlight some stats here, when it comes to critical alerts, SMS significantly outperforms emails in terms of open rates and response time. What this means, SMS have an open rate of 98%, with a 90% of message read and respond within 3 minutes, where email's open rate sharply dives down to something like 20 to 28%, with response time averaging 90 minutes or even days. So why this is important is that we see SMS is far more immediate and reliable for urgent notification, making it ideal for IT alerts, security warnings, and email communication, especially if customers have focused in addressing system failures, cyber threats, and downtime that can occur. In this area, which we envision our partners to capitalize in this gap of the market, while providing customers a complete cyber solution offering or services under compliance of enhancing multi-factor authentication and incident response. So this is where I'll just pass over to Andrew to go over how Sendquick can address this need.
Excellent. Thanks a lot for that, Danny. And good morning to you all. Thanks for joining me in this presentation exploring of the Sendquick solution today. Hopefully by the end of this presentation, you understand the unique proposition that Sendquick brings to the market. My name is Andrew Dang, and I look after the Australian and New Zealand market region. So let's get into it. Sendquick, as the title there, is a unified messaging platform for IT alerting and multi-factor authentication. Essentially, we are a messaging gateway that delivers real-time and instant alert and notification on mobile phone, as well as one-time PIN code and multi-factor authentication, or on the device, particularly a mobile phone. Most of the time it's through SMS, via text, but we have successfully integrated with other messaging platforms such as WhatsApp, Viber, Cisco WebEx, Microsoft Teams, and Slack. So why would anyone new Sendquick or how the Sendquick address the market. It's particularly of this one unique issue that we all are aware of and we heard on the news, system downtime and system outages. Not only would it affect the company through revenue loss, but it affects customers and reputation as well as loss of employee productivity. So just give you an example of some of the snippets here. These are some of the big businesses in Australia that have recently experienced a system outage. And it's, as we are aware, it's not a matter if, but it's a matter when it happens and how quickly to get notified to address it. Despite the fact that we're all aware that these large corporations spend millions in monitoring systems, the alerts and notifications wasn't instant and real time. And that's what we're trying to address, the gap in real-time alerts and notifications through multi-channel. We also address the authentication access through security, through 2FA or two-factor authentication and multi-factor authentication. Why would you need 2FA and MFA in your organization? Primarily because of this. Password is long gone. Password is no longer secure. Majority of cyber threats you hear online, you hear about the news through data breaches. It's not through some kind of an intelligent cyber hacker. It's mostly down to poor password or lost password getting stolen. So I guess the company's security is down to the weakest link of employees' password strength. And we're trying to move away or getting away from password to passwordless, which is two-factor or multi-factor authentication. Here's another news snippets that you've probably recently seen on the news, and all this comes down to the one conclusion or the one factor is that there's a lack of multi-factor authentication within the organization, which allows for data breaches, stolen passwords, etc. So speaking about multi-factor authentication, let's look at a couple of meanings behind certain levels of authentication factors. The first one is what you know, which comes down to username and password. What you have is something you hold, such as a phone or a token, a physical token, or even a soft token on a phone. And the third is who you are, what you're born with, your fingerprints, your facial signature, your facial and your eye scan, etc., your biometrics. So two of these is what we classified as two-factor authentication or 2FA. More than that will be multi-factor authentication. The more you have, the more enhances the security or access to your system for that. So in terms of Sendquick, we provide a couple of extensive authentication types, all conveniently on a mobile device. We can push out one-time PIN code through SMS for two-factor authentication. We can do soft token two-factor or multi-factor authentication as well as push authentication. We can integrate with hard token such as a YubiKey that some organizations use. Combined with Sendquick solution, we get an extra layer of multi-factor authentication. Most important thing, we're a member of the FIDO Alliance. So that's a security group that trying to move away towards passwordless authentication methods. Digital ID is a government initiative in Singapore. They call it SingPass, where the users would log in without the password to access their details, personal details such as healthcare, banking, etc. In Australia, we have something quite similar, but not there yet. I think it's called MyGov or MyGov ID. But in recent talks in the past, they're trying to put a digital ID on that as well. So don't be surprised if you hear of that in the near future. So let's get on about Sendquick and tell you a little bit more about our company. So Sendquick, we are predominantly a mobile messaging platform for all enterprise solutions, focusing on SMS and other messaging platforms that we integrate with. It was founded in 2001, almost 25 years ago, and we have a full internal technical team. Now, the good thing about that is we own both the the IP to the hardware and the software, makes us able to customize and adapt to customers' requirement with their infrastructure environment seamlessly. So there's no need to go to third party or looking for third kind of solutions. We can all do that in-house. and we have successfully implemented more than 40 countries worldwide. So this is a map of our operations through distributors, partners, and distributor network and partners around the world. I myself here based in Sydney in Australia. Our head office is in Singapore. We have office in Malaysia as well as USA, and we have operations pretty much right across the world. The only two continents at the moment that we don't have operation in is Africa and Latin America for that. And these are the selected Sendquick customers. And as you can see, some of these are well-known brands out there. And right across, just to give you an indication that we have solutions implemented for these customers right across all sorts of different sectors and industries. Anything from retail to education space, to government space, to banking, finance sector, as well as logistics, manufacturing, education as well. So let's look at some of the Sendquick solutions. We have 3 core solutions that we like to provide to the market or address the market. The first one is around the IT alerts and notification management platform. This normally sits behind a critical infrastructure, such as a server or a network infrastructure or a data center. That then will send out normally within the data center, there's a monitoring solution in place. If there's any kind of abnormal activities, that will communicate with our Sendquick system, and that will send out real-time alert and notification. Most of the time it's SMS, but we can actually integrate with any kind of messaging platform out there, depending on the usage of the client's organization for that, whether it's Microsoft Teams or WhatsApp, etc. The second solution that we bring to the market is 2FA and MFA, two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication, providing the extra layer security of access other than just a password, whether it's for internal use or in most cases, since the COVID, we have a lot of remote working force at the moment. So that just to ensure the extra secure layer in order to access the company's portal and systems for that. The third solution is around business process automation or two-way messaging automation. Think of it as appointment reminders at your doctor, at your dentist, etc. Or an SMS from a sales inquiry from an organizations to the clients. Inventory updates, logistic warehouse, and so forth. And some of our clients use for technical help desk in terms of communication with the customers and with the company themselves. So this is what Sendquick would look like in terms of the infrastructure, where it sits in the enterprise infrastructure. So majority of the clients would have what you see as a pyramid on the left-hand side. They have software applications and so forth. A lot of these applications and monitoring tools that they have really basic monitoring forms of alert and notification, which is most of the time via email. But with Sendquick in there, they actually communicate with Sendquick via your 3 forms: email, syslog, SNMP trap, and that through Sendquick we can convert that directly and instantly to SMS. So basically minimizing the risk of notification not going through, and minimizing, I suppose, a resilient plan B. So if you receive your notification via email, what happens if there's a network outage? The notification is not going through for that. The other overview is regarding our MFA solution via Connexa model. So as you can see from the Connexa model, you can see my mouse down move around here. We can send out soft token, email OTP, or we can integrate with security token or physical token, such as a YubiKey solution. And at the same time, we can do that via SMS, or we can do it online through online applications such as Microsoft Teams, Slack, Viber, WhatsApp, etc. So that's the infrastructure of how our MFA would look like. So you're probably familiar or have yourself provide some of these solutions out there. These are the big brand vendor names out there in the monitoring space, whether it's a data center, whether it's security, through to power, building management system and SCADA, network monitoring, and help desk. What we see a lot of our channel partners that we work with is they have already provided this kind of solution, so why not bundle Sendquick in and provide that instant real-time alerts, providing that value-added comprehensive solution for their clients. In terms of what industries that we specialize in, to be honest, we have clients right through all different sectors, anything from manufacturing to finance to hotel, healthcare, real estate, government, education, and so forth. In the next couple of slides, I'll give an example, a general use case of some of our around the sectors of some of our clients and how they use Sendquick for that. In the government space, they predominantly use us around the IT systems, alert, complemented with the system and security monitoring. So we work with several government sectors here in Australia, and with particularly around the government critical sector or infrastructure, they have a policy called the air gap policy, which doesn't allow internet to get in or get out of the infrastructure. So the new Sendquick to sit behind the new Sendquick in the data center. So when there's any kind of monitoring issues, environmental monitoring that's abnormal, that sends an SMS directly to the IT engineer's mobile phone for that. Because there's no internet, so no internet's allowed to get in and out of that. They can't use any other online applications for that. At the same time, the use for security access or authentication, two-factor MFA, multi-factor for security authentication for that. And in terms of messaging automation, they use that to public reminder and delivery, transaction status, notification for transaction status updates, as well as public notification for emergency messages. We've seen this during COVID. We've seen this during the bushfire emergency. We've seen this during flood, where the government communicate one to many messages, that is to the community for that. We also have several clients in the finance, banking, insurance sector, which again predominantly look after using Sendquick as an IT notification for the critical infrastructure internally. They also use us for business messaging automation, so marketing promotions, sales inquiry directed to clients, SMS, and of course SMS one-time PIN code for authentication. So we've seen all that when we access the internet online, it sends a one-time PIN code to our mobile phone just to make sure who we are, that we really are, rather than just a standard password. Of course, SMS inquiry and customer notification is also part of that. And of course, compliance and audits is another big one. In terms of healthcare, we have a big hospital at the moment who actually uses Sendquick to streamline all their operation, not just for internal IT alerts and critical systems in the background, but also for SMS for appointment reminders to patients. Lab reports, SMS communication between staff, employees, doctors, nurses, surgeons, and as well as I suppose critical life-saving systems with the patients for that. In terms of education space, we have clients in the universities, the TAFEs, the colleges, and the schools. For higher-end education space, such as universities, colleges, and TAFEs, predominantly they use IT systems and monitoring and alerts around the data center. That's considered as a hub or the hub of the IT infrastructure, and that needs monitoring around critical events for that, and someone needs to be notified ASAP. In terms of message automation, it's provided for student fees, 2FA, MFA, secure remote access. So that's for teachers and students portal where they go in to do the exam or submit the exams, and teacher would go into the portal to, I suppose, to mark the exams. And that provides an extra layer of security to that to the examination portal, as well as notification for student matters, notifications to parents on students' issues. Not so much in Australia, but we hear a lot about particularly emergency cases in the USA. So if there's an emergency situation in school, an instant click of a button will send a mass SMS to hundreds of parents and alerting the emergency responder in real time as well. So that could be a life-saving situation. So in terms of spotting opportunities, and what I'd like to share you a couple of slides how we work with our channel partners, and our channel partners do share some of how they they spot an opportunity and struck the conversation with the customers of how Sendquick will come into play. So just looking at the Sendquick solution mapping, we mentioned about the use case of Sendquick, which is the three use cases around alerts and notification, the multi-factor authentication, and the application messaging. All they have to do is go back to the clients and just see what kind of infrastructure environment the client would have. So for example, monitoring tools, IT infrastructure, security, all that needs some kind of form of alerts and notification. Majority of the time, what they'll find is they have a really basic alert notification in the form of email. What happens if there's a network outage? How does that how does that alert gets notified? All right. So in terms of IT infrastructure and security, that's also needs some kind of authentication layer of access through security, multi-factor authentication. What do they have in place other than just a password to secure their some of the confidential security portal for that? In terms of application messaging, you can identify appointments, clients with appointments setting a reminder to the customers, e-commerce sector as well as dispatch system, and emergency messaging, one-to-many messaging solutions, if you like. The SOS emergency messaging does not really need, I mentioned this before in terms of government sector about the bushfire and the floods, etc. But this can also be used in terms of BCP planning for an organization. So if there's anything happens to a bill, for example, they would send a mass SMS automation instead of a phone call to one or two staff or an email to a couple of few staff. That can really delay the whole process for that. Also, what we'll find out from our channel partners is how their solution bundle with Sendquick, or what they currently do provide for that. And I'd like to share this slide with you. So just looking on the circle on the left-hand side of the screen, I would imagine yourself, as with a lot of our partners, they provide some of these solutions out there, such as BMS or data center management solutions or ITSMs, so forth. By bundling with Sendquick, now they can provide real-time alerts directly to a mobile phone, as well as the multi-factor authentication through OTP or passcode on the phone, as well as allowing that the functionality of business automation in terms of messaging. So they're providing that comprehensive value-added solution to the client. Now let's go a little bit further. We all work with our partner MTech here, and I'll just give you an example. MTech, you're probably providing a solution of SolarWinds, CyberBit, CyberArk, Digital Shadows, Big ID, SailPoint, and so forth. What would it look like if you bundle with Sendquick? So would it increase in revenue? Selling a one product versus selling a solution package? Can you do more value-added solution for your client? A complete MFA plus alerting and notification. It's also minimizing the risk of customers shopping around for each and different kind of solutions, such as an MFA or the alerting out there, right? So keep it all in-house in a one-stop shop. Again, that comes down and feeds through to customer retention. If you provide a value-added solution, you retain your customer versus the cost of going out there to acquire a new customer for that. So the question is, don't leave any money, or how much money are you leaving on the table for that? So to make things easier, how we work with our channel partners is we can set up a 30-day trial for the end user and the VM system. So if you go out and have a conversation with your client and they have some sort of interest in Sendquick, just let them know that we have a 30-day trial. At the end of 30-day trial, if they feel that this is not the right solution for them, we can simply switch that off, not a problem. But what we find is we have a very high or good record of customer continue on after the trial period. And to make things to help out with partners with MTech and partners that attend today's webinar, we like to provide an incentive of $200 or gift voucher or equivalent for any Sendquick unit that's being sold through our reseller partners with MTech. And this offer is till the end of December. And to make that even easier, this is how I can go into SIS. feel free to use me as an extended team member of your business. Happy to do any kind of demo and presentations that you have a client that's interesting, slightly interested in Sendquick. Happy to go along and do demo and presentations, as well as helping you prospect with some clients and attend some meetings for that. And happy to answer all questions. And hopefully together we can win. So for that, I'll finalize this with questions. I'll open up for some questions now.
Yeah, there is a few. How is Sendquick's solution different to other competitors' solution?
Yeah, no, that's a good question there, Danny. Most of the other SMS messaging solution out there that we found in the market are cloud-based. Cloud is only as good if there is internet. So what happens if there's a network outage? How do you send out that critical alerts and notification, right? So that's why critical sectors such as banks, healthcare, and government rely on Sendquick, particularly with the government sector where they have the air gap policy, which won't allow internet in and out of their critical systems for that.
Thanks, Andrew. Another one, in terms of presenting the solution, we're talking about demo and then implementing it. And then, of course, followed by the after sales support. How does Sendquick support our partners if they don't have the sufficient resources?
Great. So as the previous slide that I mentioned, feel free to reach out to me. We can provide support right from the beginning stage of presenting, qualifying potential clients, right through to the after sales support. So all you need to do is just have a conversation with a potential client, and if there's any interest, just reach out and contact me, and we could work on that together.
Does Sendquick have only focused on hardware or on-prem solution?
We have all the three types of solutions. So we have the on-prem, which is very popular with critical sectors such as the government sector or even the banking sector. Then we have the cloud and the hybrid as well. So depends on what infrastructure you're interested in and what you already have. We have all that. We can all mix it together as a hybrid if that suits.
Fantastic. With all the digital transformation, these are something that a lot of customers are moving towards. I do have two more questions in the chat. So what are the things that our partners should be looking for in their customer to discover a Sendquick fit?
Perfect. To answer that question, I think we'll go back to a couple of slides and I'll bring this up just to share this with you. So as I mentioned before, in terms of solution mapping, just focus on the Sendquick use case, which is around the alerts and notification, multi-factor authentication, and just business automation around messaging. Use that case and try to map that to find an opportunity in your client's infrastructure and environment to see what they have, what they currently have, and just for example, monitoring tools, IT infrastructure, security. Just ask them a question: is there any kind of alerts and notification in terms of monitoring? How do they send out the alerts and notifications? Most of the time, you probably might come across an answer via email, and as you know, email is only as good as the internet, right? And also, email gets stuck. Everyone receives 50 to 100 emails a day or even spam, and it's not very considered as urgent for reaction for that.
Nice. I do have one more. How easy it would be to get started with a POC or POC?
Fantastic. So I mentioned in this slide just then, we offer 30-day trial via virtual machine. We can easily set that up. That's not a problem. All you have to do is just speak to the client. If they're somehow interested, if they understand about Sendquick, what it does, and they just want to say, I just want to try that out. Simply get in contact with yourself there, Danny, or MTech, or even to myself. And then we can simply set that up. At the end of 30 days, follow that up. If the solution fits with them, great, fantastic. Just keep the solution in place, or we can provide the on-prem solution if they prefer. Or if they find the solution doesn't suit, then we can simply switch that off.
Fantastic. I think that's pretty much all the questions. I guess the closing remark is, MTech here, we are focused on supporting our partners, and all our vendors are very channel first and channel friendly. So feel free to reach out to myself per se, or our sales email. We're happy to look into a solution for all your needs. Especially today, the IT alerts notification via SMS have always been sort of overlooked. So there's just a lot of opportunities out there. So if you guys like to explore more, feel free to reach out, to Andrew and I. And then, yeah, we'll see how this chalks up.
Fantastic. Thanks all for attending. Hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you.